Well, good morning. I'm Cheryl Wilkerson, WNSB Hot 91, the soul of VA.
Okay.
Just a few questions for you this morning. Okay. Do you ever see yourself running for office?
No.
Why not?
Why should I? Running for office? No. No. I believe my ministry is to inform. I love people. I love giving them information. I love breaking it down, like I said in there. Sometimes we walk away from information or news because it's so cerebral, wherefore, thereas, whosoever. And it's like, it's not all that. Let's just get to the meat so people can understand, because we are sometimes out of the process because we don't understand the process. I am not that person to want to run for office, no. I like to, that's not who I am. I can't see myself in there. I just can't. I've got I'm a divorced mother, 2 children, trying to put them through school, and I stay awake at night worrying about my kids, worrying about, is she gonna eat lunch tomorrow? Is my new freshman in college going to adjust well? Is she gonna stay, be homesick? Because she's been coming home every week lately. And because at first she was like, I'm leaving. I said, okay, bye. Now she's like, I'll be home. I'm like, see, there you go. Home wasn't so bad. So, I don't know. I mean, I'll never say never, but I really don't see
You
it.
don't see that.
Mm-mm.
So last week, the Lee Monument came down in Richmond.
Yes.
So
It was a
according to
beautiful
the
sight.
it was. According to the U.S. Constitution, if you succeed from the nation and you form a separate country, and you take up arms against the United States, as treason, you should have been hung. You should have been killed. Yet we had all these monuments all over the United States. What are your feelings on that monument coming down?
It's a good thing. I think, but even though we take these monuments down, we still have that mindset. January 6th, September 18th. Taking a monument down doesn't change people in their hearts. As a man thinketh, so is he. It's the beginning to help expose truth, help people understand. But the unfortunate thing is, you've got people who are so hard on misinformation, conspiracy theories. And it may take a whole nother generation to change that, a whole nother 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
But are you hopeful that for many, it was the younger generation that started the movement that got these monuments taken down?
I loved it. I love it. There was a park in Baltimore that I used to love going to. It was called the Robert E. Lee Park. And I'm glad they changed the name. Beautiful park. I mean, if we really want to do something, okay, we've taken that down. Maybe we should we change the name of the Edmund Pettus Bridge? In Selma, they're saying, to John Lewis Bridge, they're saying, some people said, no, we need to leave it there so people understand never again. And then others are like, no, we need to change. I don't want to see anything that will create hurt, division, because there's already so much. But if there are communities that keep those things, that's on them. Shame on them. But as I say this as a black woman, not a journalist. I say this as a woman who 5 generations removed from the last known slave on my mother's side, Joseph Dollar Brown, who was sold on the auction block in Fayetteville, North Carolina. As a black woman, no, I don't want to see that mess. As a journalist, it's very newsy to cover.
Right.
And I recognize there are 2 trains of thought on this. As a black woman, as the person April, who's the mother of 2 tree hugging protesters, Black Lives Matter protesters in the midst of COVID, I say, take them down. As a journalist, I'm there to cover the history and see the moment that they come down. But I just, we have to remember we are still in a moment where people believe that. They believe that. They believe the South shall rise again. They believe this foolishness.
And they believe it. Why? Why do they believe that? They want to believe
It's
it?
racism.
It's racism.
Pure racism. You know, there are people who believe, I mean, think about this. Charlottesville, in this wonderful state of Virginia, Charlottesville, it started out with taking a statue, then how did it devolved into anti-Semitism? I'm like, what? It went everywhere. It went everywhere. Heather Heyer was killed. These fools were walking down the street with tiki torches that you could get from Party City. Party City. Trying to intimidate someone. There's a mindset that I am better than you. And you can be at the lowest rung of the socioeconomic scale, but as long as you feel that, therefore I should not exist or I should not have. That mentality has no space and no place in 2021. But it's real today as it has ever been. And we're fighting those same fights, running from those same haunts of the 60s, 50s, and 60s, and even before.
And even before, because after the Civil War, we've had Jim Crow, we've had the black codes, we've had COINTELPRO. They never stop. They don't stop.
It went underground. You had Donald Trump vocalized it and actionalized it, if that's a word. January 6th, I will never forget that day. And January 6th plays into these monuments because those people who were there on January 6th hold up those monuments. Those people on January 6th defiled the memorial for John Lewis at the Capitol. They defecated in the halls. They ran around with Confederate flags in that building. Those kinds of people, and I say this, those kinds of people are the ones who sent death threats to me.
Correct.
And they were there.
Correct.
And I tell you, one of them came face to face with me at Politicon in Nashville. And he wound up being arrested on January 6th. Because Torrey and I and the Politicon people were like, oh my God. It was, so personally, it's time for this stuff to stop. Professionally, I'm there to report it and watch history reshift itself.
Okay.
Where does it settle as it's reshifting itself? Because as you take these down, it's even stronger September 6th or September 18th. You take it down September 18th. You do this September 18th. When will it stop? So as a black woman, I believe it should be taken down. As a journalist, I'm there to report it, but I'm watching the shift. Where does it settle?
Why did you decide to make this event your first public in-person event since COVID?
And you know, that's a good question. It was an HBCU.
Okay, that's fair.
I said, because my agent said, well, April, I said, is it in person? She said, yeah. I said, you sure it's gonna happen? She said, yeah. I said, oh. I mean, let me tell you, I'm the person who stayed in the house for like 15 months. I decided not to go back to DC anymore, to the White House during Trump, because I was scared. All those people coming in and out the White House, and the people from CPAC who were getting sick were coming in. I said, I said, I am the one who will be very sick or worse. I said, no. And I walked away. Just as COVID was starting, I was in Arizona and New Orleans, and those were hot spots of COVID. And I got out and didn't have COVID. I was in the house, and I just said, but I gotta live. and it's an HBCU. Now, I'm not running around the country
Okay.
doing a lot of speaking. I don't know, this could be it for a while, I don't know, I just have to feel it.
Yeah.
There were guarantees, you know, it would be, you know, masks and, you know, those things, so.
Well, we're glad you came. Now,
I'm glad I did too.
Are there any internships that our students can tie into and take advantage of before they go out into the workforce that you know of that would benefit our students here at Norfolk State?
With the GRIO,
With anywhere, anything you know of?
well, the GRIO, we are looking for good writers. We've got writers, editors. We are getting ready to do a big, we've got a lot of openings, and I'm not gonna say internships per se, because right now, I don't, because of the crazy dynamic of Washington right now, I don't wanna take a young person under my wing in a climate that's too sensitive. Because you never know if something can pop off. And then we have COVID. I am getting myself, I'm testing, I'm doing a testing every 2 weeks as a baseline, or every week, as a baseline, because my children are doing that too at their schools. I think it's dangerous for COVID. I think the climate right now is too dangerous, but we could do something possibly virtually, stories, etc. Because let me tell you, there's a lot to be said for working from home or working from a virtual location. We still get it done.
Yes.
We can still do interviews, we can still do reports. It's nothing like being in person, but sometimes you have to move with what the moment is. So the moment is kind of virtual.
You said you believe in unity, but how do you balance unity with fanatics? So when President Obama came into office, I believe, I don't know this to be true, but I believe that he thought that he could be reasonable and sensible, and he could work with people on the other aisle. He saw that didn't happen. Where's the cutoff line? Where do you go into politics today saying we're gonna work with people on the other side of the aisle? Or do you automatically think it's them against us and there is no unity?
What it used to be, and what the hope used to be, is that no matter who you are, what party you are from, you are the representative of all the people there, not one side or the other. But it's gotten so divisive, it's gotten so tribal. But you still gotta reach out.
Okay.
It's I'm not gonna do this, but you still gotta reach out. You can't walk away, and that's some of the problem why we have these uprisings, because you have a fringe element, you have these little different fringe elements who feel that they're not covered under politics. Politics is personal, and when you have people who feel like they don't care about me, I don't matter, they go off and do different things. And it's sad, because whether you like it or not, they should be covered under the umbrella of whomever is leading in that district, that state, wherever, or nation. And this is not new though. This is not just this year, this is not last year, this is not the last 4 years. This has been going on for a while. People do not feel that the other party, there is a certain element there, a loud element. I'm not saying it's as large as the majority, but it's a loud element out there that feels like they are not under the umbrella. And
So
what do you
how
do
about-
with them?
How about more political parties? Say a labor union party. How about a party?
You trying to be like Parliament in the UK?
How about,
We can't deal with
Tea
this.
Party, centrist Republicans,
You
centrist
have
Democrats,
so
AOC.
you have factions in each party now,
Yes,
strong
yes,
factions
yes.
that can actually pull the parties apart. Each party has a stronghold. Each party has factions that are pulling, and they're trying to be in the center of both. And it's tough.
Yes.
you've got, like you said, let's go conservatives, you've got, Trumpers, you got, what is it?
Progressives.
What was Bush? Bush was, the neo, what is it? I forgot what he, but there were so many different factions. And the problem is, the one that wins is the loudest, and it seems to be the Trumpers. Over here, you've got progressives. On the conservative side, you got fiscal conservatives, you got conservatives, you got Trumpers, you got old Reaganites, you got Bush, what is it, neoconservatives. It's crazy. And they're all trying to feel their way out.
Correct.
Over here, you got the AOC progressives, you got the squad, you got people who are centrists, you got people who, I don't know, I think the progressives are more right now, are the strongest piece of the Democratic Party. And if they're not happy, right now they're in lockstep, they like Joe Biden. But if they don't, the party can falter.
Wow.
It's just, both sides are on a teetering, they're on a high wire act, Republicans and Democrats. And God bless them for keeping it all together, because I don't know how they're doing it. But we could, there's been a thought, I don't know if this structure, this construct that the Founding Fathers created could handle another party. Because if they do another party, what does it look like? What does it look like? How do, when the breakoff happens, how do you structure it? How do you break down the states to have representatives for that new party? It's more than a notion. It's to build in the whole system, to change the political dynamic of this nation. We don't even want to add anything to the Constitution. Now you're talking about making a new party? Oh my God.
Yet, do you feel that those that are giving out misinformation and those that are tearing and stripping away voting rights, aren't they doing what you're suggesting that another party might do? Aren't they going in, tearing things apart? Aren't they trying to dismantle our Constitution if they could?
They are doing it. They're doing it. They're doing it. They're doing it. They're finding loopholes. But the question is, what is the shift back? How do you rectify it? That's the question. Can it be rectified? And who is going to do this? I listened to George W. Bush on 9/11, talking about this is who we are, talking about how if they embrace Muslims. You have a group of conservatives who don't want to do that, who didn't want Muslim nations coming here. How do you see that kind of like sending the message, like, this is who we are. We are compassionate conservatives, what George W. Bush was. Who are we? We have to sift through all of it to find out who we are. And right now, the loudest part of it is, I don't want this. I don't want you. I want it the way I want it. Versus a coming together. This is like I said in there, we're going through serious growing pains. And we have to find out what the medicine is and what the remedy is. It was bound to happen, but it is so harsh. We're experimenting with our democracy.
Yeah.
We're experimenting with our fate as a country, and it's very hurtful, and it's painful to see. But I believe the institutions will stand. I believe the institutions will stand. We're too grounded. I believe the institutions will stand. But what will they look like? That's a different question.
Well, let me ask you this. HBCUs, they're on a roll. Is it a fad? Is it a trend? Or will it continue?
It's a fad. So HBCUs are on the roll. So do you call 150 years, over 150 years, a fad?
No, I'm talking about people embracing them.
Oh, no, but I'm saying, are we on the road? 150 years. Morgan State University, it was about 9 schools that celebrated their sesquicentennial, 150 years, a couple of years ago. That's not a fad, that's here to stay. Granted, I believe our numbers have dwindled a lot, but it's not a fad, it's not a fad. HBCUs graduate and create a black middle class when a lot of other schools won't.
Definitely.
That's not a fad. People are now noticing us more because of Kamala Harris, because of Cedric Richmond, because of so many people who came from us. It's not a fad. They just finding out about us. We knew it was a thing before they found out. It was like, to me, it's like, we had nice lips. Now everybody's getting collagen injections. We were wearing braids, and then Bo Derek got braids for the movie 10. And now it's a big thing. It's like, we've been there. You just finding out. We knew it was good. You just finding out. It's like kale. We've been cooking kale for a long time. Now it's the greatest antioxidant thing. We knew about it.
Yes.
You just found out. They're enlightened, like they discovered something,
Yeah.
and it's been here all the time. So I like the rediscovery of what we already had. It's almost 2 centuries old.
Do you get an attitude when you see the PWIs performing HBCU music and trying to emulate their halftime shows?
I laugh at it. I laugh
I
at
get
it.
an
Because I think,
attitude.
but you know, I laugh at it because I think, and it's you know, it's flattering because what do they say? When you imitate someone, the best form, sincerest form of flattery. It's flattery. That's all it is. It's flattery. They are finding us. That's okay.
Yeah, it's very true what you said about Beyonce when she did that homecoming. Yeah.
I was like, sister, come through.
Yeah, that,
And when she did the one, I was like, I'm down. I did that. I put that because her birthday is the day before mine. Last year I did that. I said, this is how I'm walking into my birthday. But no, I appreciate Beyonce because she never attended an HBCU, but she understood the significance of an HBCU. And then she did homecoming to bring herself an HBCU experience that she never had. I wish one day that she could go on and matriculate on campus to take a couple courses, but you know, she's Beyonce, who knows? Who knows, she may come here.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time today.
You're welcome.
It's been great. I have a friend, I called her Morgan's biggest fan because that woman, I went to Norfolk State, that woman will send me face masks of Morgan. I'm like, hey, you think I'm walking around in this? She loves that school. She went there. You can't say nothing about
What's her
Morgan.
name?
Her name is Letra Dennis. Yeah, her name is Letra Dennis, and she loves it. And last thing I want is a picture. If I could, I'll just stand behind you.